I'll take another 30 minutes of mine and as well yours to talk about design thinking and the aspects of the process of design thinking, as well the strategies of designing and developing a prototype. So then we'll be having an interactive session on the Gautam and his team has framed out varied questions on the particular program today. So it's going to be challenging for me because he has framed out some different questions. I would like to notice that, but still, it's again going to be like an annual examination to answer all the questions. So because all people out here are really great innovators who is attending the program today, and it's such a great privilege and opportunity as well to work with PUBIC as mentor for marketing and IoT for the past 1 year down the line. I haven't done anything for PUBIC, but PUBIC has done many things for me. Since Gautam is CEO of PUBIC as well, he's my school junior actually. So that's one proud moment. Like saying my own school junior is again the CEO of TBI in Tamil Nadu, a biggest TBI in Tamil Nadu, which is growing TBI in Tamil Nadu, who's doing out very well in terms of bringing out business ideas, in terms of engaging TBIs, I mean, engaging people into TBIs, developing successful prototypes. Already is doing well, probably. So it's again, I'm just a fuel adding up. I'm just adding up fuel to all his dreams as well as all his hard works and efforts in terms of bringing out everything into possibilities and making everything possible. So that's the only thing I do as a mentor, and it's my second program with PUBIC Salem and Gautam Palisamy today. So as well, it's again great privilege and honor. And thanks every participant, each and every participant. Please take care of your health. Please take care of yourself, and let's go ahead. So at end of the session, we'll have a Q&A session with few people as well. So it's going to be interactive session, and it's my probably during this COVID-19, I would like to. I mean, I have crossed more than 100 webinars probably. So closely working with institutions so far, it's going on well from my end, because daily I used to address student friends from different parts of the country, as well faculties from different parts of the country. I would like to thank each and every one for giving this wonderful opportunity. So as being, I'm 24-year-old from Coimbatore. I'm running a couple of startups. Recently started one more startup, so-called VegRoot, Agritech India Private Limited. So then operations have started, and we have started closely working with the farmers and customers to deliver products, veggies and greens and other, fruits. So it's going to be very interesting. It's a B2C supply chain platform for engaging farmers and consumers in one single platform without any middleman engagement. And successfully it has started. We have 2 or 3 people working closely with that. And probably in another 1 year, it will be closely working with more than 50 people, I hope, with all your supports and contributions so far. So, yeah. So design thinking is always, I believe that it's kind of a brainstorming, problems, identification of some problem might be typically training design thinking is somewhat like identification of problems. That's what I wanted to say initially. ஸோ டிசைன் திங்கிங் அப்படின்றதே வந்து ஒரு ஒரு நம்ம கண் முன்னாடி தென்படுற ஒரு ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் ஆகட்டும், இல்லை நம்ம ஒரு ஒரு விஷயத்த வந்து செஞ்சு முடிக்கணும், இல்லை அந்த விஷயத்தை நோக்கி நம்மளோட பயணம் தொடரணும், அந்த விஷயத்துல நம்ம பார்க்கக்கூடிய மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு ஒரு பிரச்சனையா இருக்கக்கூடிய அதை சால்வ் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிற ஒரு பாயிண்ட். ஸோ அந்த கேள்வி எல்லாத்துக்கும் நமக்குள்ள எப்பயுமே இருக்கும். ஸோ அதை இன்னும் ஒரு புது விதமான ஒரு முயற்சியை கொண்டு, புது விதமான ஒரு ஒரு செயலை கொண்டு எப்படி நம்ம வந்து சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்ற திங்க் பண்றது ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி தான். ஐ கால் இட் அஸ் design thinking, and that so called design thinking as well. So it's again definition of problems might be focusing on problem statements might be, and we have to do some background research, and we have to specify the requirements arised, and probably we have to again brainstorm solutions. That's most essential for as being a design thinker, and probably choosing the best solution from the brainstormed. The value of brainstorming is again choosing the best solution ever what we identified, and probably development of such a work so that it doesn't involve so much of money as well, so much of time into developing a good product, or might be a prototype, or might be designing some business ideas for developing a better community. So then probably I so call it as building a prototype as well. It is most essential in terms of design thinking, as well testing the prototype with research aspects in terms of growing it out in a very bigger ways. Again, a bigger task that is to be involved with this particular DD. and probably testing and redesigning the particular concept as well. Particular prototype is again going to be very challenging in terms of building a better prototype as well. So that again involves lots of money, lots of time. So how to reduce all those and how to be different, how to be unique from others, how to be how to think in a different way, how to ideate those particular processes in a different way is going to be today's session actually. So my experience towards this DT as well, developing a prototype and marketing it into a bigger segment of customers and engaging them to build a better community as well, to sell products, to sell thousands of products online. So yeah, it's again very challenging thing for me initially, but I don't take it as a big challenging thing, because once you start trying, then probably nothing seems to be challenging at one point of time. So you have to believe in that initially. So that's what I wanted to tell you people all the time. So you always be, you always take leadership, you always engage yourself into building a better community. You always engage yourself into building a better prototype. You always engage yourself in building a better prototype into a product, and which will be helpful for society as well. So that is so-called social innovation of, in entrepreneurship. So DT is always, I believe that it is a human-centric design values which builds out a better product or might be better prototype, for engaging better communities actually. And first of all, it is kind of, design thinking is always the way of thinking. How do you think? How do you be different? How do you build a prototype in a different way? And what exactly society needs today is again so-called the way of thinking, right? And it is again so-called method of creative actions. So how creative I am, how innovative I am, how innovative products I have built, how creative mind I have in my own self. So that's again the biggest question mark amongst everyone actually. So so design thinking is always close to my heart, since it has already it has started in the year 2000 by a person called David. He's the father of design thinking, and he started a school called IDEO, which is in Far East UAE as well. So he started design thinking school, which embeds and engages students to think beyond education, think beyond theoretical ways of learning, think beyond what actually industries does today. And that is so called that is so called the perspective and thinking beyond education. So he started his first commercial company in 2000. Then he kickstarted his own business ventures probably. So he took lots of efforts and he faced lots of troubles in terms of building a better product and building a better prototype. And at one point of time, he realized that probably every dream is possible. So through design thinking, he believed that every dream is possible. And then he started this design school in 2000. Then probably he's the father of DT actually. So then it went on well. At one point of time, he realized that every day it should be a learning in terms of being a design thinker. So then he started learning himself, and he called it as self-learning aspects and self-learning terminologies. What I always wanted to mean to everyone. And in one sentence, if I wanted to tell about design thinking, I would like to mention that it is methodology for creative and practical, wicked problem solving, terminologies, where every problem can be solved through design thinking terminologies and design thinking methodologies, which is most essential in today's world, because world is going very faster, and where we stand is all about most important in bringing out your skills, in bringing out your growth, in bringing out your values to the society, in building such a values to all the people across the country, right? So there are two important things in design thinking. So first of all, first mark goes to creativity, where we started our first entity, so called Spice Foundation, in 2014 probably. Spice Foundation is all about society of promoting innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship, where it all started. And that's the day I came to know about design thinking. That's the day I started building prototypes and building better products for society. It helped me a lot in terms of building a better product, better prototype, in terms of growth, in terms of bringing in valued people, in terms of making venture into a successful initiative. And second probability I would like to mention it as practical thinking, or might be you have to put it always into practice. So practical thinking is most essential in terms of building any entities, or might be building any kind of prototypes, or might be any kind of products which is essential, or and probably you're trying to build. So these are two initiatives which you have to have in your mind always. So first of all, it goes for creativity, and second point, it goes for practical thinking. So practical thinking should be put into practice all the time, because it plays a major role in terms of building a better entity, or might be a better product, or might be a better prototype, whatever it is I would like to mean. So then, with the problem, I'd like to mention, like I have mentioned already, that it is kind of a methodology, or I might be mentioning in one sentence, so-called the creativity and problem. I mean, creativity and practical with the problem solving. The with the problem is always so-called, completely. It's going to be impossible. So we always think that every dream is impossible. We always think that some problem will not be able to be some point of time problems will not be able to be solved, and it's all because of the lagging of creativity. It's all because of it's all because of the thinking abilities. It's all because of your own practical learning methodologies, so that's so-called the wicked problem solving terminology which I wanted to define. So we don't have data to solve the problem initially. So initially, while you think, while you think to develop a prototype for solving a problem, you always don't have any data. You always don't have any ideas in terms of solving a problem in a better way. You have to be different. You have to be unique, and you have to you have to start publishing about your things online. So once you kickstart your idea, so it all needs innovation, it all needs creativity, it all needs empowerment, it all needs enthusiasm to build a better prototype. It just doesn't need it doesn't need just alone the your money or your time investments. It all needs innovation, it all needs creativity, it all needs how unique you're going to develop your prototype probably. So, for example, I would like to mention one particular point in terms of design thinking. So, starts from it has high level of uncertainty. Obviously, it has high level of uncertainty, and you have to have some better solutions. You have to have at least two or three better solutions for one particular problem statement which you have defined. So, that's most essential as a design thinker. So probably, and the final step, what you would like to mention, like if we don't have data, or we don't have both, don't know how the solution will be at the end point. So like the problem has been identified, and we always don't know that how it works out, or might be in another couple of years down the line how the solution is going to define. I mean, how the solution is going to be, or whatever it is, and we won't be clear in terms of building a better prototype. So always we have to have some practical experiences. So once we decide to start something, we have to do it immediately. We shouldn't wait for the opportunities to come back to us. If we are going to wait, then we'll be a loser, and obviously next person who's thinking of the same problem, who's going to ideate some different solution, will be the winner. And probably you have to find out different problem statement, and which will be ending up in a different problem for you itself. So you have to find a solution for the problem which you have identified, and probably so it goes on with the flow. And for closing, and for ideating a different solution for this particular problem statement is most essential. Initially, while you think of a problem, you have to immediately find out a solution for that particular problem, because there are a lot more competitions in terms of building a better prototype, in terms of building a better products online. And probably if you're going to think today, then tomorrow the same product will be launched, and probably you'll be into market, and you'll be earning in millions actually. So that happens, and that's the real life scenario what I have faced so far. And even I have failed a lot many times, but I haven't hesitated to fail, or might be I haven't hesitated to learn from the failures. So uh, learning from failures is most essential step for taking beyond and thinking beyond from what we initially had so far. And changing the product according to the trends is again most essential thing. Changing the prototype concepts, or changing the solution design for a design thinker is amongst, like saying, there are three initial steps which we have to focus. First of all, I would like to think about economical criterias, or might be ecological criterias, and might be social criterias. So these are three important key factors which we have to follow in developing and designing a better solution for building a better prototype. And might be, we always look into empathy kind of thing. So like, it is not just about, selling a product to only one customer and just sitting about, uh, uh, getting the reviews from one customer. It is all about selling a product to thousands of customers across the country. And probably you have to follow all these points before you develop a prototype. And first of all, it goes to empathy and so-called the pain of the customer. You have to understand the pain of the customer, or might be the end user who's going to use your product, or you're going to, you're who are going to use, or you are going to buy your product. And that means like that. And probably the second point might be goes on to the requirement phase, so-called the requirement phase. And probably you have to notice somewhere the complete statistics of the requirement of end users and the customers who wants your product. And might be you have to define the solution for the particular end users who wants your product to be sold. And might be you have to collect all the informations which is present in the scenario, and you have to go through all the informations, and probably you will find out some better solution, and that better solution will be getting into millions of dollars. So that's going to be the growth of, that's going to be the phenomenal growth. And if you're not going to follow all those points in the initial step itself, then probably it's going to end up in trouble at some point of time, at some point of your journey. So you have to follow all those, because we haven't had any ideologies or terminologies to follow. Like we didn't have any kind of webinars or sessions, or might be mentorships during our journey, on our entrepreneurship journey. We started it with just 9 rupees in our hand, and probably took lots and lots of hard work and efforts to build this particular startups today, and what actually I'm into today. So then I would like to mention, like, so-called the definition of some problem statements, and might be getting into ideation stage, which is most essential for building a better prototype. And these are 5 important key factors what I'm going to mention right now. You can note it down. So probably it might be helpful for you people to understand about the design thinking aspects and terminologies, what is being followed in industries today. And first of all, it goes to empathy, finding out, analyzing the problems of the customers, or might be the pain of the customers, who or might be the pain of the end users who's going to use your product, or who's going to buy your product. And might be analyzing all the requirements, all the needs of the customers who's going to get your product. And might be you have to collect all the information. You have to make a SWOT analysis, so called strength, weakness, opportunity, and death, and or threat, in terms of building a better prototype. And that's most essential. And third point might be collecting all the informations in terms of regarding the prototyping model, or the design, or the compactive feel, and the touch and feel initiative, or might be. So how unique your product is all about, that's going to win in future actually. And second point I'd like to mention as defining the problem statements, probably. So defining the problem statements in terms of ideating some problems, and identifying the problem which is present in the society, and probably clearing all those problems with one particular solution which is going to be innovative and which is going to be creative. And third point goes on to ideation point of view, like saying how creative I am. It's not about how old I am. It's going to be how creative I am. It's going to be how innovative I am, right? So people always say one point, நீங்க என்னடா சின்ன வயசுல இருக்கீங்க, how you are going to win at some point அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. It's not about the age. It's all about the experience. It's all about the creativity. It's all about the innovative strategies. It's all about the design thinker. It's all about being a design thinker. So how different amongst I'm from amongst other people is most essential thing in building a better product, or better prototype, or better entity, whatever it is, right? And third point goes to ideation. Developing such a good idea, developing such a good solution for the problems which has been identified by you and your team, probably. And then we have to start building a prototype which is most essential for which is most essential for a person. Which is most essential for a person, or might be an individual, or might be a company or an entity, to test it as well. Prototyping always means close to all the companies. Means close to heart to all the companies, because before getting a product to be finalized, we have to make hundreds of prototypes to get a better product actually. So you can make a prototype using, you can make a prototype using, if you're going to develop some products on IoT or might be develop some products on different domains, where you can develop a prototype, using dot matrix board, you can develop a prototype using, PCB board. It depends on your cost effectiveness and depends on your creativity skills and how you're going to be adaptive to all those points is again most important and essential thing for building a better prototype. And fifth point I would like to mention as testing the mechanism, or testing the prototype, or maybe how far it works out well is again most essential thing in building a better prototype. And probably if test is going to fail and probably you are not going to fail, it's again a big learning for you in terms of building a better prototype, as well in terms of prototyping into conversion of prototype into a product, so a final product actually. So final product is not going to final product is not going to end from your end. It's again going to be ideation kind of thing probably. And first point, as I already said, it's so-called the empathy. First of all, initially you have to focus on the targeted group, might be the end user community, and then you have to focus on you have to know everything about your clients, might be everything about your end users. The future, you have to be futuristic always actually. So that's most essential before entering into product development or product design and whatever it might be. So who is your target customers? You have to define that, who's going to be target customers and what kind of product you're going to sell with them, and what would be the cost evaluation for the particular product you have built. And probably that's most essential in terms of building a better product and in terms of building your entity as well. And second point I would like to mention, you should know everything about the clients and probably problem solve to the public, initiatives of the problems. It's not going to be yours alone. It's again going to be society's initiatives, again going to be social initiatives, which is going to help out community in terms of solving a bigger and a better problem. So then it goes to first impression of building a better product. Is, I would like to mention one particular product which we use today, and that is so-called the pen, so-called the Parker pen, which we use today. So it all started building. Parker has started building a better products in the year 2015 or 2014 or maybe in 2010. So what they did was like they developed lots and lots of products and lots and varieties of products in terms of marketing it to different segment of customers. And what they did was like they went and placed all their products in petrol stations, in might be in fuel stations, and might be in gas stations, and might be in different areas where the customers aren't going to stand and watch all those products which is being placed over there. And that was a big failure for the Parker company. And probably what they did was like they hired a consulting company came out through the initiative saying like every dream is possible. They have took this Parker product and they have started marketing to different segment of customers through different domains, so-called the e-commerce domain, or might be in stationery shops, or might be in different domains. And what the initiative, what the feedback they came with into Parker is all about. They said only one point: your Parker is not going to sell up with thousands of customers. It's just going to be sell with hundreds of customers, where each and every customer should be unique. Each and every customer should be different amongst others, and they should be viable. The product should be viable in terms of building, selling in a better way. So that was one feedback given by a consulting company. At one point, what happened was like they started approaching stationery stores. They started approaching different customers, but still they found out somewhat things is going to be different and difficult. At some point, what they decided was, okay, why don't we change the appearance of the outer cover? Why don't we change the appearance of the the product design, or might be other aspects? So they came up with different outer covers. They came up with different aspects. They came up with the different marketing strategies, and they started marketing it to gifting customers. Parker has started evolving as gifting product. So then they started packing it up in a very better and a bigger way. So probably it is now highest selling ink cartridges across the world, and probably why not? So that's again a good initiative what design thinker has to be, and how a design thinker has to think in a different way, and so that how product will be successful at one point of time. That's most essential actually. So they came up with aggressive marketing. They started positioning in gift stores. They probably redefined the radar of the problem from the market. They probably ideated the broad and the bandwidth of the initiative what they took, and probably they came up with lots of ideas. They solved the problems which the company has identified, and probably they have different rules. One is the visualization rule, and might be the painting and sketching rule, and might be the drawing rule. That's so called the ideation stage. And you have to always sit. You don't want to always be stable in one position. You have to jump, you have to run, you have to enjoy your journey, and that's how you can be successful at one point of time. So it's all about physical form of solutions. See the reaction of prototypes which you have built. So that makes some good sense in terms of building, in terms of selling your product, or in terms of marketing your product to a bigger and a wider community. So you have to always focus on targeted groups. You have to always focus on end user community. You have to always focus on the cost effectiveness of your product, and it should be a compact kind of feel to all the customers who uses it all the way. It depends on the segment of customers. So you have to identify yourself that probably it always needs some buying ability of the customer. So you have to identify that, and before identifying that, you don't need to you shouldn't step into developing a prototype in terms of building a better prototype, right? So that's what I wanted to say to you people about design thinking. And probably it's all about the agile software development, or might be the risk management, or might be the transparency of building a better prototype, or might be you have to think on three different aspects or four different aspects. And one point is you have to understand the problem, and then you have to explore the problems and the opportunities whichever is present. I mean, explore the opportunities which is present, and you have to start building a prototype. And might be you have to evaluate the prototype. If it is going to fail, then you have to start again learning from the failures. Then it's not going to fail. You have to start building a better product than the prototype, and that's how it can be successful at one point of time, right? So yeah, first of all, I would like to, I have initiated about, I have mentioned something about design thinking and innovation so far. And in building a better prototype, what exactly needs to you know um, communicate yourself, or might be think beyond opportunities. So that I have mentioned so far. And probably it's open to Gautam to ask any set of questions he has from his end. So probably I would like to mention all those answers for the next few minutes, or might be 25 minutes probably to the line. So yeah, Gautam, please.
So the first thing is rapid prototyping நம்ம வந்துட்டு எல்லா ப்ராடக்ட்ஸுக்குமே நெசசரின்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
ரேபிட் ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பிங் இன் டேர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் எல்லா ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்க்கும் நெசசரியா அப்படின்றது நான் சொல்ல முடியாது. ஒரு விஷயம் என்ன சொல்லலாம் அப்படின்னா, மைட் பி என்ன சொல்றது, உங்களுக்கு வந்து ரேபிட் ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பிங்ல வந்து 3D இங்க்ஜெட் பிரிண்டிங் ஆகட்டும், இல்லை வந்து மைட் பி சாலிட் கிரவுண்ட் கியூரிங் ஆகட்டும், இல்லை ஃபியூஸ்டு டெபாசிஷன் மாடலிங் ஆகட்டும், இதெல்லாம் வந்து உங்களுக்கு சில எஃபெக்டிவ் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ், ஐ மீன் வாட் வுட் ஐ சே, ஒரு சில கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்க்கு மட்டும் தான் தேவைப்படும் ரேபிட் ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பிங் டெக்னிக்ஸ் அப்படின்றது. So it is not mandatory for all the kind of products whatever you're going to develop or build actually. So rapid prototyping ன்றது வந்து it's not mandatory for all the products, but in terms of in terms of இன்னும் வந்து கம்மி விலையில பண்ணணும் அப்படின்லாம் நினைச்சீங்கன்னா, this wouldn't be a better platform to build a better prototype actually.
Yeah, okay. Fine. The next thing is டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டியை நம்ம வந்து எப்படி வந்து என்ஹான்ஸ் பண்றது. ஒரு ப்ராசஸா நம்ம டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி அந்த டிசைன் வந்து எஸ் இதுதான் எக்ஸாக்ட் டிசைன், இந்த டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி அடைஞ்சிருச்சு அப்படிங்கறது என்ன மாதிரியான ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் வச்சு நான் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண முடியும் சார்?
ஓகே, ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் 4 விஷயம் வந்து யூ ஹேவ் டு ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆன் டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டிஸ் ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல் ஆஃப் டிசைன் அப்படின்றது என்ன அப்படின்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் வந்து 5 ஸ்டேஜஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ அதில் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் இட் கோஸ் ஆன் டு த இனிஷியல் ஸ்டேஜ் ஆக்சுவலி. நோ ரெக்யர்மெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து எந்த ரெக்யர்மெண்ட் இல்லாமல் வந்து ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ்ல இருந்து ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா வந்து எப்படி மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல் போறதுக்கு முன்னாடியே வந்து அந்த ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பிங்கோடைய வேல்யூ என்ன, எவ்வளோ டைம் எடுக்கும், ஸோ அந்த மெத்தடாலஜிஸ் எல்லாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோ த்ரூ பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் அந்த டிசைனிங் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவலையும் நான் இனிஷியலாக ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ண வேண்டியது இருக்கும். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் வந்து நான் இந்த டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல்ஸ்லேயே வந்து நான் என்ன சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னா, தேர் ஆர் 5 different stages as already said. And probably first goes for ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து என்ன சொல்றது, ஒரு என்விஷன் இருக்கணும் ஆக்சுவலி பிஃபோர் டெவலப்பிங் எ ப்ரோட்டோடைப். இனிஷியலி வந்து எப்படி ஒரு லாங் ரன்ல இந்த ப்ரோட்டோடைப் பண்ற இந்த மாடல் எப்படி இருக்கும், ஸோ இதோடைய க்ரோத் ஃபேஸ் எப்படி இருக்கும், ஸோ இது வந்து ப்ராசஸ் வந்து இது இது ப்ராசஸ் பேஸ்டா இல்லை ப்ராடக்ட் பேஸ்டா, இல்லை வந்து இதை நான் எப்படி கொண்டு போய் ரீச் அவுட் பண்ண போறேன், என்ன கைண்ட் ஆஃப் மார்க்கெட்டிங் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ண போறேன், ஸோ இந்த மார்க்கெட்டிங் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் நான் ஃபாலோ பண்றதன் வழியாக எத்தனை கஸ்டமர்ஸ் நான் டார்கெட் பண்ண முடியும், எத்தனை கஸ்டமர்ஸ் டார்கெட் பண்றதன் வழியாக எப்படி என்னோட பிசினஸ் growth கிடைக்கும், எப்படி நான் வந்து ரிட்டர்ன் ஆன் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் நான் எப்படி ஆஃபர் பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்றத பத்தியெல்லாம் நிறைய திங்க் பண்ண வேண்டியது இருக்கும். இட்ஸ் நாட் ஜஸ்ட் அபவுட் த டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல்ஸை மட்டும் அனலைஸ் பண்ணி வந்து நம்ம டிசைட் பண்ணிட முடியாது. ஒரு பாயிண்ட். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் வந்து அன்ரெகனைஸ்டா இருக்க ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை வந்து அதை ரெகக்னைஸ் பண்ணி ஓகே இதுதான் இதுதான் வேணும், இதுதான் எசென்ஷியல் அப்படின்ற அந்த தெளிவான ஒரு பாயிண்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வேணும். ஸோ அந்த பாயிண்ட் இல்லாம வந்து நீங்க அதுக்குள்ள இறங்கக்கூடாது. செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் கோஸ் டு யூனோ ஒரு ஸ்கில் செட் நமக்குள்ள ஏதோ ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல இருக்கணும் ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி, டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி போறதுக்கு முன்னாடியே ஸ்கில் ஐடென்டிஃபிகேஷன்ன்றது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸோ நமக்கு ஆப்டான ப்ராடக்ட் டிசைன் தான் நம்ம பண்றோமா அப்படின்றது ரொம்ப தெளிவா இருக்கணும். அப்புறம் வந்து எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் த பர்டிகுலர் டிசைன் ஆர் மைட் பி எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் த பர்டிகுலர் கான்செப்ட் அப்படின்றது தேர்ட் மெயின் ஆஸ்பெக்ட். அண்ட் மைட் பி இது எப்படி கொண்டு வரும் அப்படின்றது ரீச் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு தென் மெச்சூரிட்டி ஃபேஸ் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்றதுக்கு வந்து தென் மைட் பி இன்னும் என்ன சேஞ்சஸ் கொண்டு வந்தா பெட்டரா இருக்கும்ன்ற திங்க் பண்றது நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேஜ். ஸோ மைட் பி இதெல்லாம் கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஓகே என்ஹான்ஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணி முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் இனோவேஷன் எப்படி இன்னும் பயனீர் பண்ணி எப்படி வந்து நம்மளோட ப்ரோட்டோடைப்பையும் ப்ராடக்ட் எப்படி வந்து ஸ்டேக் அவுட் பண்ணி எப்படி நம்ம ரீச் அவுட் பண்ண போறோம் அப்படின்றது இந்த 5 ஸ்டேஜஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் தான் யூ வில் பி ஏபிள் டு திங்க் அபவுட் த டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல்ஸ் அப்படின்றது இந்த பைனியரிங் ஆஃப் இனோவேஷன் தான் டிசைன் மெச்சூரிட்டி லெவல் உங்களுக்கு வந்து தெரிய வரும்ன்றது தான் ஒரு பாயிண்ட் ஆக்சுவலி.
ஓகே சார், இது உங்களுக்கு லாஸ்ட் கொஸ்டினா இருக்கும். நான் ஒரு டிசைன் டெவலப் பண்ணிட்டேன், அந்த டிசைன் எனக்கு ஃபெயிலியர் ஆயிடுச்சு, லாஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட்ல எனக்கு ஃபெயிலியர் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ என்னோட தாட் ப்ராசஸே என்னோட டிசைன் திங்கிங் ப்ராசஸை வந்து ப்ரொஹிபிட் பண்ணுது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு மென்டல் பேரியரை நான் எப்படி வந்து ஓவர் கம் பண்றது டு அச்சீவ் a successful product?
ஸோ ஆப்வியஸ்லி வந்து ஏதோ ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் நீங்க பில்ட் பண்ண ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா அட் ஒன் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் வந்து எப்படி ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ் வரும். யூஸ்வலி இன் ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் யூ ஃபேஸ் லாட்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ் இன் டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் பில்டிங் ப்ராடக்ட் ஆக்சுவலி. பட் அந்த ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ் ஓவர் கம் பண்றதுக்கு ரெண்டு முக்கியமான விஷயம் கண்டிப்பா நமக்குள்ள எப்பயுமே செல்ஃப் லேர்னிங் வந்து உங்களை ஃபெயிலியர்ல கொண்டு போய் விடாது. ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு இனிஷியலி திங்க் ஆன் செல்ஃப் லேர்னிங் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ். அண்ட் செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் வந்து இந்த செல்ஃப் லேர்னிங்ன்றதை தாண்டி வந்து உங்களுக்கு டிஃபரெண்டா வந்து நம்ம பாயிண்ட்ஸ் எப்படி திங்க் பண்றது, எப்படி சொல்யூஷன்ஸ் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்றது, சொல்யூஷன்ஸ் எப்படி இன்னும் ஐடியேட் பண்ணி நான் எப்படி டிஃபரெண்டான ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ல கொண்டு போக முடியும், எப்படி ரீச் அவுட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்ற அந்த ஆஸ்பெக்ட்லாம் திங்க் பண்ணிங்கன்னா தென் ஃபெயிலியர்ஸ் வில் நாட் பி யுவர் வெரி க்ளோஸ் ஃப்ரெண்ட், right? So you have to treat failures as your close friend, but one point of time if you're going to follow all those creativity innovative ideas, ஒரு இடத்துல ஃபெயில் ஆயிட்டா என்னடா பண்றது அப்படின்ற அந்த பயமெல்லாம் நமக்குள்ள இருக்கப்போ வந்து யூ டோன்ட் நீட் டு திங்க் அபவுட் ஆல் தோஸ் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ். ஸோ இட்ஸ் ஆல் அபவுட் த கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி, இட்ஸ் ஆல் அபவுட் த ஐடியா, இட்ஸ் ஆல் அபவுட் த இன்னோவேஷன் வாட் யூ ஹேவ். அண்ட் ப்ராப்ளி அட் ஒன் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் இட்ஸ் ஆல் அபவுட் த எண்ட் யூசர் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ், எண்ட் யூசர் டேர்ம்ஸ் டெர்மினாலஜிஸ் என்ன அவங்க ஃபீல் பண்றாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு இது உண்மையாலுமே தேவையா அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் பண்ணீங்கனாலே தென் அட் ஒன் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் யூ டோன்ட் நீட் டு திங்க் அபவுட் இது ஃபெயில் ஆகுமா ஆகாதான்னு நீங்க திங்க் பண்ண அவசியம் கிடையாது. ஆப்வியஸ்லி இட் பி இன் பிக் அண்ட் ஹியூஜ் சக்சஸ். ஸோ அது நீங்க எக்காரணத்தை கொண்டும் கவலைப்பட வேண்டியது அவசியம் இல்லை. ஸோ இமீடியட்லி நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் டிசைனிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றீங்க, ஒரு ப்ரோட்டோடைப் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்கன்னா இமீடியட்லி ஸ்டார்ட் டூயிங் தட். டோன்ட் வெயிட் ஃபார் சம் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் டு கம் பேக் டு யூ. யூ ஹேவ் டு ஸ்டார்ட் டூயிங் இமீடியட்லி. அண்ட் ஆஸ் ஃபார் அஸ் செட் ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல வந்து யூ ஹேவ் டு பி வெரி கிளியர் இன் டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபெயில் ஆனாலும் அதுல இருந்து நான் எப்படி ரீச் அப் ஆகி நெக்ஸ்ட் லெவல் போறது அப்படின்ற அந்த ஆஸ்பெக்ட் ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் எல்லா பாயிண்ட்லையும். ஸோ அது ரெண்டு பாயிண்ட் ரொம்ப தெளிவா நீங்க எப்பயுமே உங்க முன்னாடி வைக்கணும். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் ஃபார் எவ்ரி ஒன் ஃபார் திஸ் வண்டர்ஃபுல் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டுடே. அண்ட் ப்ளீஸ் டேக் கேர் அண்ட் ப்ளீஸ் ஸ்டே. ஜெய் ஹிந்த். பாய்.